Good morning, everyone. So I think we're going. I missed the first few seconds of that one. And hopefully you all got the message yesterday that we're starting a little bit later this morning so that we know the positions on the boats. So if the boats is going to be at 0800 UTC. I'm getting it right this time because I know that's fact. And that means 10 o'clock local time here in France. It's the 1st of April, 2023. And I think it's day 208. So this is the new time slot, and I'm sorry if it upsets people's coffee because they're running late or running earlier. If anyone's got, I don't think we can really change it. So if you've got a problem, it'll take a while to get used to, but this is the new time slot. And we'll, look forward to sending that. So what happened today? Well, the interesting one, we had a call from Kirsten this morning. She's sailing again, which some of you may have seen. She's doing 5.6 knots, but she dropped her scraper. Now, what's the significance of that? She got over the side to have a look while it was becalmed yesterday, and she's got a whole screed of tiny little barnacles on the hull. And doing big sweeps, she dropped the scraper. So anyway, shouldn't hold her up too much. But anyway, we'll see how that develops, and she'll probably send a tweet out to talk about that anyway. As time goes forward. So, but she's sailing and she was really excited about that. She sounded a bit up for a change, which is really good. And here we'll talk about Jeremy in a minute, but he's going to get clobbered again, sneaking up behind him. We put him on a weather alert, but for now, let's have a look at Ian. All is going well for him, pretty much ideal sailing conditions for the Southern Ocean. That's probably about an 15 to 20 knots of northwesterly on the beam. Look at that 8 o'clock position. Did I say 4 o'clock before? I can't remember. Anyway, we're back onto current positions. Just popped up a few minutes ago, and he's doing 6 knots, which is absolutely flying. So he must have fixed up his little tear in the mainsail, the 20 to 30 centimeter tear. He must have repaired that while he was at anchor recovering with the guys there giving him a hand. And can't complain about that. 136 nautical miles in the day, so that's all good. And there's a little bit of increase of wind coming by the look of it. Yep, it's going to. I'll pick this up a bit. We'll scroll it through. You can see what's going on the other side of Cape Horn, and that's all from a reasonable direction. Ian being the gentleman sailor, when it's coming like this, you'll see him take off to the east, but it won't last very long, so that's okay. And it moves out very quickly. It's only over about 6 hours, and then he gets a shift from behind again. So coming through, there's 24 hours ahead. So all of that's going to happen in 24 hours. He'll be a bit busy, but that's fine. He's fully recovered and recuperated. And then he gets a kick from the south, which is really great. That'll push him back up the other way. So he'll be following the run line and make, he should be averaging, he should do 100 miles in the first day. And then here coming through, that's the midnight. So by late in the second day, he's going to start. There it is there. So you get 2 days. So that'll give him about 250 miles, I think, all on course. And we'll just kick it a little bit further. No big deal there. He'll slow down for a bit, and then then he's got some headwinds coming, but he'll be 250 miles ahead. So he'll sit in that for a while. There's 250 miles. Yep, he's going to be. He's going to be up here, so he's going to sit for a while there. But that's fine, no big drama. Come on, here we go. Yeah, it looks like he'll sit for maybe a day. Would certainly go slow for a day, hooked up in this one here. So anyway, but all is fine. That's all good for that part of the world, and he's clawing his way north to get out of the roaring 40s in the Southern Ocean. So what's happening to Jeremy? We sent him another weather update last night, and he'd already got a forecast from someone from the Chileans, I think it was. He mentioned it in a tweet to us, a message to us, that it was forecasting force 10. So we gave him the for his area coming in late tonight, and basically, this one's sneaking up from behind, and he's been trying to get north as best he can. In fact, now you can see his course has been pretty reasonable. Can't see it. He's got the bad color. It's grey. But he's basically been heading up in a northeasterly direction, but now he's getting headed by this northerly that's coming in. So he's been pushed down a bit, and that's not helping him. But he's in an okay position, because you'll see what happens as this rolls through. He got a little bit further up there, and you'll see it sneaks up behind him. It's going to run into him about 1700 hours UTC. So by the time he gets there, the nor'wester's building up to about 25, 30 knots. There's 30 knots plus there, and it's gusting about 40. Okay, and then pretty quickly once he gets into the back here, but this was last night, I should just say. Last night, it was suggesting that he would get forecast winds of 35, gusting up to 50, 55, and he'd get that for about 12 hours in the middle. Sea state was going to go up to about 7.7 meters. So very fast. And the challenge with the sea, and we'll explain that in a minute. So you'll see what happens. It's actually breaking up a bit now. This system formed, and it was intensifying. But when you watch it, you imagine he's going to be slowly coming out in this direction. He's going to be about here, but it's pretty general. It's all breaking up around him in that northeastern segment, the northeastern corner of this low pressure system. Okay, so he's in the safe sector. This is called the safe sector because whatever wind he gets as he's going, as it moves across, it'll blow him out of the system rather than suck him into the system. And you can imagine now the sea state is rolling like the sea was originally from the northwest. So you've got a northwesterly sea swell coming in about 5 meters. Then over a period of about 12 to 18 hours, it's going to swing right around and you'll get a southerly sea. The wind's going to come from the south. And this is what you try to avoid. This is we haven't had a lot of these during the race. Most of the heavy winds have come in and they've maintained a wind direction, say from northwest to southwest. It's only a 90-degree sort of segment, so they don't twist too much and they don't get too nasty. But when you go from a northwesterly sea to a southerly sea in a matter of 12 or 18 hours, it gets incredibly confused and it gets really nasty. And I'd call it, to a degree, depending on the wind strength, it gets dangerous in terms of being knocked down and rolled over and things like that. And it's something you've got to be careful of. The other thing is that I haven't looked at, which I will now while I'm explaining this, is the currents. Okay, the currents are not too bad. They're in a favourable direction. They're sort of coming generally from the west, southwest, west, and so on. So that's not too bad. You don't want this bit here where it's coming from the northwest, right? And then you get a southerly swell on that. That's when it gets really dicky. As he gets up here, it's going to be interesting because he is going out that way, but I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. But the smallest amount of current can do dramatic things to the waves. In fact, I'll just show you the wave gradient here. These are 7 and 8 meter seas here, okay, where you've got that lighter tone. And where he is now, it's building pretty rapidly. And so there's two issues, just to remind you. One is the size of the sea. The other is the direction of the swell, and it's going to change really quickly over time. And the final one on top of that is the wind strength. So you combine those three, and you'll get an understanding of what's going on. And let's just see how it pans out. But anyway, I'll just roll this through again. Fortunately, you'll see just as it's getting to him, it's all breaking up. So that's fantastic. That's good news. That wasn't happening in the forecast yesterday. And you can see there, I mean, it's backed right off again down to 30. And this is the more extreme winds. So the forecast we've given him saying, 35 gusting 55, he might be on the top of it. And we were thinking he was going to get those peaks for 12 hours. But now by the look of it, it might be a little bit less because he'll be a little bit further out here by then. So it's very hard to say because even this graphic, as you know, it's an interpretation or an impression rather than fact. But he only just clips the top of that blue there, this area here, and this is all fading away as well. So it's looking a bit better now than what it was late yesterday. And then once it gets to here, it's southwest. So before it was projecting a southerly sea, and I would say it's probably going to be not quite south, but it will absolutely go from northwest to southwest and probably southwest because it's being generated. The sea swell actually is generated by the center here, the center of this low, and it'll be coming in this direction for sure. So a little challenging one, but he's well and truly capable of doing it. He knows it's coming. He set the boat up, and once it goes through, it drops off very quickly. So he's got about 24 hours. It'll start late in the day UTC, and the whole thing will be over within 24 hours. And we'll look forward to Jeremy being on the other side and we'll hope that between now and then, this breakup that's happening, that we talked about, gets even more and more pronounced and not more intense. So that'll help him as well. But yeah, Jeremy's really the story of the day, except for Kirsten's barnacles, of course, and dropping the scraper. But anyway, so that's Jeremy's program for the next 24, 48 hours, and we'll be thinking of him there. And it's really bad luck for him because this is the 30th parallel. He's out of the Southern Ocean sort of thing, out of the roaring 40s. He's out of the horse latitudes and one little clobber before he goes. So he'll be well and truly looking forward to get to the trade winds, that's for sure. Okay, so back down here to Captain Goog. He's heading due north, perfectly north in these trades, which is perfect. He's got an easterly. That's fantastic sailing, and he's doing 5.1 knots because it is getting a little bit soft. I'm certain he'll have everything up. He's not being lazy, but you can see here the colour there is losing it a bit. It's not a strong trade wind at all. In fact, this looks like about probably 10 to 15. And very, very, we know the seas will only be less than a metre. So beautiful sailing. Let's see if he's in the sun. Always a bit of fun. Cloud cover. Oh, yeah, it's not so bad. Yeah, not so bad, but he's got a bit of haze there. So not perfect. And currents, has he got anything helping him? No, nothing helping him, but nothing going against him. And temperature-wise, it's getting up there. Yep, he's into the 30s already. So he'll be drinking a lot, but he's got plenty of water. Everyone's looking pretty good for water now. That was a big turnaround. So that's kind of encouraging. And I'm not even going to worry. I'll scroll it through just to be polite. Otherwise, people will think. But you can see trade winds. It's just soft and it's sitting there. This is the first 24 hours. He'll be doing the same. He'll be making 5 knots. So there's 24 hours. And then by then he's coming into the impact of the doldrums. So this is only a bit over 24 hours at 5 knots. It's 120 miles. He'll be, by then it's a little bit more than that. He'll be just here and he's got a bomb in front of him. He's got a starburst. See this one here? It's just a generating, I forget now the name of this one. I go through this every time. The wind's coming out in all directions from the core of the system. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I'm not expecting that it's not going to be a storm or anything, but they're always fun to see. And I call them a starburst, but that's not the meteorological term. We could Google it and find out, but still a pretty good starburst. It's like a fireworks going off. Anyway, so no real surprise. We'll keep it going through a little bit more to give him 2 days, just so people can see. So it's coming up. That starburst is gone. He misses out on it. And there he is, day 2. So it's actually not too bad. It's kicking in behind him again because he'll be up here. He gets a bit of a boost, so it'll only be another slow day. He's got 2 slow days, so he's probably going to do 150, 160 miles in the 2 days, maybe. So that's good. Happy as. So okay, so Kirsten's the lady at the moment because she's doing 5.4 knots and 50 nautical miles in the day. So still have been really slow, but you can see why she's sailing. In fact, Ada sent me a message this morning on Facebook. Don, Kirsten doing 5 knots. I said, yeah, don't worry, she dropped her bloody scraper. But anyway, you can see why she's doing the 5 knots. Ada thought, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, it's just anything can happen because she's not quite through it, and she's out to the right here where it's very soft conditions. And anyway, she'd be really happy about that, and she was when she rang. She was saying, I'm moving. And Simon and Abelish, I would say they're pretty much in the trades now. They're still a little bit light for Simon, but making the most of it. And it's giving the impression there 4.3 knots. He was going a little bit faster in the previous 4 hours, but it's probably, this is showing similar breeze to Kirsten, but he's obviously got a bit less for that. Simon doesn't do 4.3 knots in this colour, if you know what I mean. Now, Abelish's got solid colour, 5.9 knots. I think he was doing 5.4 knots before that. They're just a little bit slower than what he's showing there, but 77 nautical miles in the day, so it was soft. But if we look at this here, there's absolute trade wind stuff here. Same with Simon, and a little tease for Kirsten. Okay, I call it a tease because she's still not quite in the same colour as the other 2. We'll scroll it through now. I won't worry about the big picture because it's all about what's happening here for the moment. And you can see it's still soft to the right or to the east. and the soft bit's coming over again. So this is where Kirsten will, miss out a little bit. But we can only hope that in the breeze that she's got, she still holds out here to the east, and that will still give her a breeze at that point, and that's 24 hours away. So she's got at least 24 hours of reasonable sailing, and Simon's the same, and Abelish is the same. So they'll all be pretty much holding their own in that straight line across the parallels of the latitude. But then, oh boy. So it's still sort of reasonable for Kirsten. Simon's got a little bit more breeze, and Abelish has got plenty. So you're going to see Abelish pull forward of the line, but that's not necessarily where you want to go, because surprise, surprise, this is home, this direction here. So you can see what's happening about the windward situation. And I'll just, for those that have joined didn't see what I was mentioning yesterday, when I say this is the run line, that's the way home. They can't go that way. These northeasterly trades here will send them out in this direction, and then hopefully they can wind their way around, and eventually they'll usually end up cutting through these group of islands here, the Azores, and that's where you'll see them end up. If it's really bad, they've got to tack, they've got to come back and forward like this and get up to the Azores, and then they'll work out how they get around to Les Sables d'Olonne, and usually it's heading up until you get the westerlies, and then you come across here. So they're all sailing away from the course at the moment, and trying to get into these trades, and then they work out what they do. When they do get into the trades, maybe Kirsten will pick up a bit because she is in the windward side. She's further upwind, so that helps in sailing terms, because you cannot sail upwind indirectly into the breeze if you're in a yacht. So okay, I'll just come back and we'll go through to the next day. Oops, it easy. Come on, that was a bit far. Okay, so I'll keep going. So this is a little bit over. This is getting up towards midnight on the second day. You can still see very clearly there that Kirsten's not in the best position on the east of the course rather, because that's quiet, and I think that will affect her. And Abelish by then will be up here a little bit further. Simon will be up here a little bit further. We've got to hope that Kirsten's on the side there and getting a little bit of that breeze to keep moving. This is what we want to see her over here. But anyway, so that's 2 days ahead, basically. That's the second day. And the second day, just to show you roughly where they are, I'd give them 100 miles a day. Ooh, maybe not quite. So they'll be around about, Kirsten will be around about here somewhere. Okay. And that's going to be interesting. Simon will be around about here somewhere. He's absolutely got more breeze, but you never know. This could all change by tomorrow. So it's all neck and neck for everything so far, and we'll look forward to seeing what it looks like for tomorrow. So I think that's about all I can tell you. So thanks for that, and we'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye-bye.